guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a story time. I don't have a lot of interesting story times to tell, but one of the best experiences has been Believe tour. So if you guys don't know, that was Justin's second tour. The first one I ever experienced and the best one ever. I will never ever forget it. It was my first experience and I loved it, so I thought why not share a video on my experience. It's going to be a little jibble jabble because there's so much stuff that went on. I don't know where to start. So 4 years before Believe tour, I watched people meeting Justin, seeing him live, obviously Never Say Never, One Less Lonely Girl, all those types of things. So all of that stuff over a screen and not in person, and it's pretty hard when you see the person that means the most to you on screen and not in person. And sometimes you think, you know, I'm never going to meet them, I'm never going to see them live, and I'm not going to lie, that was me. I can remember it was his 18th birthday and he spent it on Ellen, and I watched it and I just cried because I thought, you know what, this is just going to be somebody that I'm just going to see on a screen and I'm never actually going to get to meet them or experience a tour by them or anything. Everything just felt too good to be true. A couple of months he announced his album, Believe, and then came the tour dates in America and Canada. Obviously the tickets went on sale and I watched all over YouTube people getting Believe tour tickets and I cried with them. I'm not gonna lie. And I genuinely thought that it was never going to happen to me and I was never going to get a ticket, and that this was the only way that I could probably feel what it's like to get a ticket, watching other people get them. I was on my friend's laptop at the time and I saw that the tickets in the UK were going on sale in the next few days. And I kept saying, I really want them, I really want to go. This is probably the only opportunity I have and I'm so eager to go. We've got them early, they haven't even gone on sale yet. This gives us a good chance. So my mum looked into it and she said that there was tickets available for Manchester at the back, like right at the back. And I was half asleep at this point and I just said no, because I thought, you know what, this is my first experience, I'm really small, nothing's changed 6 years later, I'm still as small, and I really want this to be an experience where I can actually see him. I didn't refuse the tickets because I wanted front row, it's nothing to do with that, but I didn't want to have back row and then not be able to see him. It was one of those moments where I said no and then I instantly regretted it and I cried. And then the next day my mum said that she'd managed to get me tickets to go and see Justin in Nottingham on the 2nd of March 2013. This was the best day of my life. Honestly, I was the happiest I'd ever been. I wanted these tickets more than anything in the world. These tickets meant the world to me, and something that I never thought was going to happen happened. So this made my heart so happy. I was so happy, but my friend wasn't coming. And she's a big part of my journey as a believer. I'm still a believer all these years later. I still love him. Big part of the fandom. She's a big part of like us being fans together. We grew up watching him, we grew up watching his videos together, singing his songs together, making ridiculous memories together, and this was so important for me that she came with me. We managed to get a ticket for her to come with us as well, and that just made the experience so much better, experiencing it with your best friend. So we both ended up going to the show together. On the day of the show, we were standing. I had no idea what it was like to go to a standing concert at all. I'd never experienced a standing concert in my life, so I had no idea what to expect. We got to the venue at 9 o'clock. People were queuing all in the streets, all over the arena, everywhere. And I had no idea what to expect, so at this point I was like, oh my goodness. And queue way far down the street, and then they started moving us and we went to the front of the arena. At the front of the arena, there were 4 barriers at the front, only little gaps between them, and then there were barriers going around the outside of the arena. Outside. and this was just one big barrier, one at one end, one at the other, and this caused chaos towards going in, and I'll explain that later. So obviously I had to chase after the tour buses, and we chased after the first tour bus that came, and the first one was actually Cody Simpson in it. I didn't actually know at this time, so I ran off after the tour bus, and you know, started shouting, screaming, you know, things you do. So I actually got called back to go back to my mum, so we had to leave as soon as it pulled up. So we went, and then a few moments later when we sat back down, a girl came over in floods of tears and said that she'd just met Cody Simpson and that he was the one in the tour bus. Then that nearly made me cry, because I really wanted to meet Cody Simpson as well, because I knew he was a part of the tour, and the people on the tour and his team and everything meant everything to me. So I was really sad that I missed out on meeting Cody Simpson, but actual fact, he actually follows me on Twitter, so that's interesting. He followed me after Believe Tour. I dread to look at the DMs I sent him when I was 13 years old. I dread to think. So I don't want to look, to be honest. I don't even want to look. Another one. All day we was chasing tour buses left, right and centre. We also got some merchandise as well. We was allowed in and out of the venue. Obviously not in the actual arena part, but we was allowed in and out of the venue to like use the toilets, the facilities, food, etc. So we got some merch, we got glow sticks, program, a lanyard. And this is actually a Believe Tour t-shirt, because I thought it was perfect for this video, but this isn't actually from the show. This is online. I got it online. The one from the show I've actually lost, which is typical because I kind of lose everything. The one from the show isn't from the show, so I don't know why I said it's from the show, because it's not from the show. It was from Primark. I never got any t-shirts at the show because I already had an idea of everything that I wanted beforehand. So that's all we got in merchandise. We met some friends there as well. We met a girl called Brittany, and we made really good friends with her while standing in the queue and things. So we got our merch and things, and then we went to sit back down with my mum, and we had something to eat and things. 2 seconds later, we saw another tour bus come. I ran over, nearly trod on someone's head because I was that excited, and I really didn't mean to, so I apologise in advance to whoever that was. But I was a very, very excited 13-year-old, nearly squashed somebody on the head, and I ran after this tour bus. Bear in mind, this was the last tour bus that I experienced. This was the last tour bus that I ran after, because we had to then go and queue up, and this one apparently had Justin Bieber in it, and I didn't know this until I left, and the next day when I checked Twitter. You know what you do? You do those things, don't you? I ran after this tour bus, screaming, shouting. I fell over a wall. Olivia couldn't get over the wall, because you know when you've been standing then sitting and it was freezing. It was freezing cold, so we wasn't obviously used to that, so we were so cold. We had hardly any energy, but we made it. So we went over there, started, you know, trying to look for him. I was on somebody's shoulders at this point because I couldn't see. So 2 seconds later, my brother came over. We needed to get back in the queue because they was all moving. So this is the part when we ran back. Everybody was standing up. As you can tell, it was complete chaos. We could not see my mum at all. I had to get in and I had to say, I've lost my mum, I don't know where she is. Then somebody had to start shouting for me to get through, because nobody would let me through at all. And then we had to go back to my mum, and people was chanting, shouting. At this point, I knew that they were being filmed. And I thought, oh, we're being filmed for the Believe video, because the Believe video was actually being filmed the year before. It was actually being filmed in December in America and stuff, but on the Capital FM site it said that they were being filmed today as well, that us Believers were being filmed. So I thought, you know, this is probably for the Believe DVD. So people started chanting and singing and stuff like that. I don't think it was actually on the DVD. I don't know what they was filming for, but we were getting filmed. It was in this massive bunch of people. We could not sit down. We could not move. Bear in mind, this was 3 o'clock. Can I just say that? 3 o'clock. So from 3 till 6, we were standing absolutely squashed between so many people. It was causing chaos. The security were so rude. Like, honestly, hands down, they were so rude. I wouldn't say they were rude if they wasn't, and they were really rude. So rude security didn't help, and people were losing their tickets because people were so cramped together that people were screaming, "I've lost my ticket," and then was asking, "Look, have you got a wristband? Because if you've got a wristband, you get in." And she was like, "No, I've not got a wristband either." She was talking to her mum on the phone, and she was like, "Mum, this is so bad. I can't move. I'm stuck. I've lost my ticket." And she was saying, "Get out of it, get out of it." And like, no joke, she could not get out of it. None of us could move. It was horrific. Barriers were not set up good at all, and we was all squashed for 6 hours. Didn't help that the security were opening the windows at the top and filming us, so we thought it was Justin or one of his team, because when you're that young, and back then fans were crazy. We have definitely calmed down, but fans were absolutely crazy, and they would do absolutely anything. All screaming, shouting, chanting his name, singing his songs and things like that. So this was absolute manic. So it didn't help that they was opening the windows and filming us, because that made people push even more. We was getting even more squashed. My mum had to hold on to both of mine and Olivia's hoods, because we honestly was going to get separated if we didn't do that. So we also met a Canadian woman, which, as you can tell, I was on cloud 9. I was obsessing over her because she was Canadian, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're Canadian. She probably knows Justin Bieber. They're probably like best friends. She's probably related to his grandma, and I was just overthinking these weird things. I don't think she actually knew Justin Bieber, but she did come all the way from Canada. So that was absolutely insane, and not even gonna lie, I loved her, and I didn't want her to ever leave, and she was going to come into the show with us, but she said, "Look, I'll hold on to you guys so you all stay together." 2 seconds later, everybody else started pushing, and they was gone. No idea where they ended up, but they was gone within 2 seconds. So that's how fast we lost those. We did make a friend during the day. Her name was Brittany. We went into the show with her, and we all, you know, had a great time together in the show. So when the doors opened at 6, the people at the front actually broke the doors. So when we got to the barriers, we actually got stopped. We wasn't allowed to get in. People were going under their arms and things like that. Then got let into the show, and when we got let in, the standing was separated. So there were 2 parts, one at the front, one at the back of the stage. Bear in mind, we all paid the same amount, so I don't know why there was 2 separate areas, but I'm guessing that was just for safety. At the front of the stage, they were, no joke, no barriers. Not joking, there were no barriers. Not at the front of the stage anyway, because he had a catwalk that came out. On the catwalk, there was absolutely no space at all. Like, between the stage and the people were touching the stage. Like, there were no barrier to separate or anything, which I didn't think was good. It was absolutely roasting in there. The floor was full of rubbish, so that wasn't safe. We needed to sit down because we couldn't feel our legs or anything like that, because it was so cold at that point that we was freezing. And then going into a hot area, it honestly messes with your body a lot. So we was trying to sit down, then every time we sat down we heard music come on, so then we stood up because we thought it was Justin. And I also want to make one thing clear as well. During this period, Justin was late for a few shows on stage. At the Nottingham Arena, it was actually technical faults. You could tell it was technical faults. People were getting other people to sort out things on stage, and technical issues and things like that. It was so obvious that it was technical issues. So Justin wasn't late for that show because of him. It was due to technical issues. When I was so excited for the show. So we then decided back down, and then the sport ads started coming on. The first one was Carly Rae Jepsen, and then it was, wait, was it Carly Rae Jepsen? Or was it Cody Simpson? I don't know. One of those ways. Actually, I think it was Cody, because I can remember Carly saying, "Who's ready for Justin Bieber, because he's up next." And I was so excited at this point, and for Believe Tour they had a massive thing come on stage which counted down, and I had no idea what was going on, because at this point it was really small, so I couldn't see anything, and everyone started absolutely screaming, and I thought, I can't see him, I can't see him. So 2 seconds later, these massive things appeared on stage, and it started opening, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's coming out, he's going to be right in front of me. I can remember him coming out, like I can vision it right now. I can remember every single little thing about the show, and I can remember him coming out at the exact time, me having an absolute panic attack because the person that I'd admired for years was right in front of me for the first time. I never thought it was going to happen. Honestly, hands down the best day of my life. The show was absolutely incredible. It put on an amazing show. Of course, I wanted to be the one less only girl who doesn't. People were throwing stuff on stage at the show. I think someone actually threw a bra on stage at the show I was at, so that was interesting. He actually mentioned that. He said people to stop throwing stuff on stage because he is going to hurt himself and he won't be able to perform. He did end up leaving when Believe was playing. This isn't because I didn't want to. I got a lot of backlash for this. I left because I was very, very poorly, because of how cold it was and because of the cramped situation that was in before the venue, then going into a hot arena and being still just as cramped. It was not the best experience of my life at all. It was very hectic and it had a massive toll on my physical health. I ended up going to the doctors, I think 2 days after the show, because I was that poorly from it all. And we ended up leaving the show just due to me being quite ill. We did watch near enough to the end of the show, so I don't know why I got backlash for it, but you know what people are like, so you know, it is what it is. But that is kind of my experience, and it's probably the most boring video you've ever watched. Probably rambling, I've probably said stuff that I've already said, and it's probably all over the place, but it's really hard to film a story time because there is so much to this video that I haven't even mentioned because it would just make the video so long. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please smash a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would be extremely grateful. If you want to see any more story times, any of my Belieber experiences, concert experiences, live experiences, do let me know. I haven't really got a lot to share. I feel like Believe Tour is probably the most interesting because that much happened at the show. It was hands down the best experience of my life, and I wouldn't want to go back and change a single thing. It was incredible. Justin put on an amazing show and he's gave me the most incredible memories over the last 10 years, and I can't thank him enough for that. And I'll forever continue to support him. I'll forever continue to be his fan and follow his journey and support him no matter what. So bring on the next era because I am so ready. I will see you guys in my next video.